Hey everybody, listen, welcome to a special episode hosted by Comeback King Enterprises, man. And the subject, you don't want to miss it. We're going to be talking about you're not aging. Oh, you're losing leverage over your biology. And we've got somebody that's a phenomenal guy, and he speaks to the real truth. And so get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. So those of you that don't know me, my name is Geoff Tyson. I'm affectionately known as the Comeback King and founder of Comeback King Enterprises, where our mission, oh man, it's a real clear mission, is to lead a worldwide movement around no longer seeing the comebacks in life as setbacks, but seeing them as, oh man, lifestyles, baby, that lead us to our purpose, lifestyles that give us the strength and not the setback, lifestyles that help us step into who we all are meant to be. Right. And today's message, we're going to add in this special sauce, baby, that, oh man, it's important, right? And it's all around health and doing it in a unique way, in a way that just kind of puts the icing on the cake, baby. I know we're talking about health. And yeah, I said cake, but I love to eat chocolate cake. You guys already know that about me. So anyway, I'm not going to take a lot more time, but I just want to make sure everybody understands the gift that we're about to present to you. Gentlemen that I've met, oh man, for a short period of time, but we've had opportunities to connect. And I want to tell you something. Now, ask you a question. Are you feeling like energy is being lost in your body? Do you even really realize what's happening? It kind of shows up quietly, right? You know, when exercises used to be easy, now they take effort. The workouts that used to work no longer working for you. Right, the recovery time, the focus, the drive is kind of slightly off, and you know, guys with gray hair, they like to say it's age, right? And kind of submit to that. Well, what if it's not? What if that's not the truth? What if it's hormones, right? What if it's misaligned habits, outdated strategies that we all follow sometimes, right? I'm guilty of things that we've been following for year after year after year that could be wrong. But that's what we're going to unpack today, right? This brother I'm going to bring on the stage here in a minute. Got over 30 years experience in health and training, and he's helped thousands of people through this process. And what else? Why I've got him here, because he stands out, right? And what he stands out and around is his precision. I mean, he's just like bang, bang, bang. We talked about. And so there's 4 things we hopefully are able to get to all of them. He's going to break them down, right? Why high performers lose momentum after 40. Raise your hand. I want you to raise your hand as I read these. How to rebuild energy without guessing. Pretty exciting. I want to know more about that. What actually moves the needle in strength, recovery, and longevity? What really matters? What really works, right? And why most people are doing the right things in the wrong way. All right, so listen. Let's have some fitness talk. Let me help me welcome to the stage my new friend and this brother. Listen to him, take notes, challenge him. Show him some love in the comment sections. My new friend, Esteban Lutz. Let's get him up here, baby. Let's get this thing moving. What's up, Esteban?
Hey, Geoff. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that. I'm ready to take some notes. This is good. Let's go.
Man, I love that. And that's what I was telling people, man. You're about taking notes about precision, but maybe there's something I missed in the introduction. If you like to kind of fill in the gaps, and let's just kick this thing off, man.
Yeah, it's so one of the things I've realized over the years, so over 30 years in the fitness, nutrition, transformation world, is we want so badly to show up in a better way today than we did yesterday. And then we get into a comfort zone. And this is one thing that I've realized, you know, when I was in my 20s and my 30s and my 40s and now in my 50s, is we get into I just want to chill. I just want to relax. I just want to rest. And one thing I've realized is if we're not putting attention into something, it withers and it falls apart. And we might get into it. There's been aspects of my life where I was an elite athlete, and then other aspects of my life where I was the fat, fluffy, just completely down in the dumps guy. And what I've come to realize is, and you hear this so much, where focus goes, energy flows.
Yes.
And when there's no focus in me, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
You know, whatever rose bush that you've got, whatever nice little tree or animal, if you're not fueling it, if you're not feeding it, if you're not taking care of it, happens same in relationships. It will begin to die instantly.
Yeah.
We're constantly in the middle of that lake or in that middle of the ocean, and there's a strong wind, there's a strong current. And unless I'm purposeful on my destination, the drift will take over. And I will bring in some science. I've got over 30 years in the industry, from being a coach to professional athletes to being an executive for national fitness chains. I was a guy that would design the challenges. I worked with a team where my team actually, we coached, trained, and developed trainers for a reality show called Biggest Loser, and we designed their nutrition program. I've designed nutrition, weight loss, performance programs for over 500 fitness companies nationwide, the big box chains. So I could say that I've done a rep or two to learn a thing or two, and it's evidence based. So hopefully today I can shed some light to those that are watching, those that are listening, on number one, we've got beliefs that serve us, and we've got beliefs that don't serve us. So I'm going to challenge the way some of you are thinking right now. And if you have an anchored belief that doesn't serve you, I may pull those weeds out. And in knowing and understanding that there's a way, it's possible. And when you have that direct route, you can evolve relatively quickly. So I'm looking to shine a light on a shortcut for somebody here today.
Yeah, and we definitely want you to do that. But I want to back up just a second to that fat, fluffy kid. Because I see you guys. Let me tell you, the brother's ripped. Right. So, it was something that was, what did you take from that experience? Because, we all there's something in all of us that are keeping us from our greatness. So talk about that for just a second, and then we'll get into the other stuff.
When I was fat, I didn't realize I was fat until there was always the I can get in shape. I'm the fit guy. I intellectually, I knew that I knew the stuff. I had memorized the stuff. I was doing fitness. I was counting the calories, and I'm gonna speak against counting calories at some point today. So going back to my fat days, the thing was I didn't quite realize that I was fat in that moment. And then I do remember looking at a picture and like, bro, if guys can get pregnant, I look pregnant. Guys can't get pregnant, in case anybody's confused out there. Let me shed some clarity into that. And I in the moment, I didn't realize it. But I look back now, my stress level during that season specifically, I've had some chunky days and some soft days, but the really fat moments, the outer world is an expression of what was going on in my inner world.
Yes.
So I was sick. I was highly stressed. My hormones were completely off. So it didn't matter what exercise I thought I was doing. It didn't matter what foods I thought I was doing, or balancing and calculating the calories and the macros. I was showing up a weak version of myself, not just physically, but I was owning businesses at the time. I didn't show up as a proper mentor, CEO for the company, and it impacted. I remember losing some key people. I lost them. They didn't leave. They didn't leave the company. They left me. If we had a great relationship, they'd be like, hey, they would have graduated out. So it's one thing when an employee graduates out into an awesome opportunity, and it's like, I'm proud of you, congratulations. And it's different when they leave. I ended up creating a divorce. Again, I look back now. At the time, I was totally playing victim. It's all her fault. It's this, it's that. It's like, I created my own world.
Yes.
And I could not have changed to who I am now had I not owned my decisions, actions, and belief then. So that's where I would say, and I was stuck there for a while. So I'll take the ownership, where the longer I was holding onto that victim mask, like it's not my fault, then I'm stuck there. It's like, all right, bro, if your intention is fighting to be right, then you're right. And then, so taking me back to the fat days, it was just a representation of, I'm not my best.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to sprinkle a couple of things here. I've heard the body positivity thing over time, and I'm like, I don't buy into that. So, and for a few reasons, So I've got an 18-year-old son now. Let's say he were 10 years old and he walks up to me and he's got blotches all over his skin. He's got snot coming off of his face. The kid looks like gunk. Does that mean I love him less? No.
Right. That's right.
Well, body positivity, you get to love him. I still love him. And I also acknowledge that he's sick.
Right.
So how can I support my son that's sick right now to where he does get better, not just feels better, because feeling better is like, I'm going to give you a drug to where you don't feel the illness or the sickness.
That's right.
versus healing. So this is where I call BS on the body positivity, that being inflamed, being fat is a sign of that the body is sick. So it could be physiological. And many times it's emotional. It's stress related. There's so much going on in life. And it's like, well, my survival hormone, the cortisol, is up. Every other hormone has to take a back seat. I was living that, 100% living that. And there's a couple of steps that I look back that I'm like, yeah, I went through that to get to where I am right now. And again, I didn't realize it at the time.
That's deep right there, bro.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was in survival mode until I'm no longer in survival mode. When I'm out of survival mode and thriving mode, it's like, ooh, this is what feeling great.
This is what it feels like.
Yeah. It becomes so commonplace for us that it's what we call normal. I'm fine. It's the dog that gets beat all the time. It's normal for it.
Yeah.
It just happens on a regular basis. And until you're in a healed state, in a high energy state, in a thriving state, you're like, now I have comparisons.
Yeah.
So I'm like, for me personally, I'm like, never again. And there's some things that I have done to where the never again.
Yeah. Before we move away from that, what are some never again things that we can move away from this?
Okay. So they're lifelines. Never again is like, I anticipate and I expect to fall on my face. So that's one of the things that we talk about when we coach our clients. It's like, you're going to fall on your face. And when you're a kid and you fall on your face, it's no big deal. You expect that. Right. I'm learning how to ride the skateboard. I'm gonna fall.
Yeah.
If I'm really cool, I'm gonna break my arm or my leg, and I have a cast that everybody can sign.
The cast, baby.
But as an adult, one of the biggest fears that we have is judgment. Fear of failure because of fear of judgment. Yes. So number one is I anticipate now and expect that I'm going to fall on my face. So what are my lifelines? And you and I know each other outside of the interview here. So you know the truth of this to me. I've hired a coach and a mentor.
Yeah.
A coach and a mentor will hold me higher than I will hold myself.
Absolutely.
I have an accountability person, and this is for my relationship with my wife. This is for my finances. This is for the relationship with me, the relationship I have with God.
Yeah.
A lot of that accountability person for me is my wife. Right. I pay, for me, it's a lot of money for my coach and my mentor.
Yeah.
And it's purposely enough to where it stings a little bit so that helps me be accountable.
That's right.
Well, it's kind of like in the world of fitness, that somebody hires a personal trainer, but if it doesn't cost that much, you're not going to show up to the sessions.
Don't miss them.
So, and a third lifeline is I've purposely surrounded myself with, and I'm going to say this is for me, with godly men. So here's a big one where I fell on my face. Relationship wise, and that impacted the way that I saw myself and body. I would hang around men that spoke ill of their wife or their girlfriend. It's like ball and chain, which with a B, not a W. Nagging, so always negative things, pointing out the sexuality of other women. So that was commonplace. Now, I purposely put myself around men that speak well of their wives in private and in public.
Yes.
And the ones that don't, I love you, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time with you because that is not my lifeline. I
That's
will
right.
have a rocky moment with my wife, and I expect my tribe
Yeah.
to wake me the F up and be like, bro, how about you show up as a godly man so you're not having those problems.
That's
So
right.
that's where I say never again, because I've purposely connected lifelines to me,
Mhm.
expecting and anticipating to fall on my face.
Yeah.
I just do. But when it happened to the magnitude that it did in the past, I was like, whoa, I never expected to be depressed.
Right.
I never expected to be suicidal. I never expected to have failure in business or relationship.
Right.
So it was like, now I expect it.
And it kind of goes to what we talk about seeing the comeback as the lifestyle. It's good. It's going to be there. It's part of it, right? You're not shocked when you fall on your face
Yeah.
if something happens. If you're trying to reach something that you haven't done before, if you're really trying to get healthy and you really haven't had someone like your expertise before to train you, or if your relationship is jacked up. So all those things, man, fit into what you're saying. So I appreciate you. Let me switch you back there for a second,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
I think it's important for a lot of people out there that are sitting behind what's going on externally. Now you've given them some things, some hope, around some things that can change in their lives, man. So I appreciate that. So
yeah, I openly say that I've got a 10 out of 10 relationship in my life right now because I'm purposeful for it.
yeah,
So it doesn't mean that it's not rocky. Um,
right,
I do for myself. I have a sequence that I go through daily. Is
yeah,
repetition,
yeah,
and it supports me having a 10 out of 10 with my wife.
yeah,
Spirituality,
yeah,
finances, growing our business. Are there storms all the time? The
yeah,
thing is, the storms are much shorter than they were before.
yeah. Shorter and probably not as volatile. I mean, I don't
Correct,
know,
correct,
right?
correct.
Both of those go hand in hand, right? And had you had these things in practice, earlier, probably would have been less seasons of chubby.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and volatile is a perception.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, well, you think about the stress that we had so I'm in my 50s, the stress that I had in high school. I look
Mhm.
back and it's like, really? I was stressing out then, or the stress in your 20s. You're like, really? So all it was a perception in that moment compared to the experiences that I had prior to.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
right.
just, it's just whatever story we're creating in our head. Oh,
Right.
it's the boogeyman. Okay, is the boogeyman a little rabbit or is the boogeyman Godzilla?
Yeah.
So so it and that's all it is. Because of the lifelines for me,
Right.
then the boogeyman has not gotten to be a Godzilla
That's right.
as it had in the past.
Right.
So,
That's right.
so I'm
Right.
still gonna get the storms, still gonna get those false attacks,
Yep. Yep.
and what's my story behind it?
What's your story behind it, and how do you keep moving forward? Because it's going to happen again, right? I mean, it's happening. You're in it. You're just finishing, or it's happening again. So I mean, and we can stay here forever, man.
Seasons, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Don Riley says you learn from your experiences. He's spot on, man.
Yeah, so good,
Hopefully,
man. So
we
good.
can implement some things in there. So let me kind of get you back, because I don't have the ability to keep you here all day, and we don't want to. It's a Good Friday and everything else. So I want to make sure we speak to this next piece, Esteban. Why high performers lose momentum after 40? I mean, because there's a lot of guys out there. I know you talked about, and first of all, congratulations for your accomplishments. And The Biggest Loser, man, that was a great show. I mean, that's some years ago. So we'll have to talk more about that later. But kind of speak to performance over 40.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is that blend of that new boogeyman that's coming up.
Yeah.
So it's where's my focus? So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and C-suite execs. So when you own your company, it's a whole different stress level than when you're a W-2 and you're receiving a check, whether you're sitting on your butt or you're not sitting on your butt. When you own a company, it's either you're productive or you're not productive. Like there's so many entrepreneurs that I know that have gone through bankruptcy once or more than once. Like they put it all on the line. That's a whole lot of stress compared to somebody that's like, it's 5 o'clock, I'm done, I'm out. It's like, okay. So what ends up happening is, at least for these individuals that I'm working with, they it's a different season of their life where, okay, my focus is finance. It's provide, protect,
Yep. Yeah.
my Y chromosome that's built into me. And I am no longer the priority. So I become, anything that's invested into me is based out of convenience or whatever's left over.
Wow.
So, and there's BS statements out there that I've heard over the years that, dude, how selfish are you that you're going to the gym instead of, being with your wife, being with your husband, being with your kids. And I'm like, that's selfish if you don't.
That's right.
Because now when you're showing up as a weaker version of yourself.
That's right.
I mean, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. I visualize an apple tree. When we invest into the apple tree, into the soil, into the water, into the sun, it yields tons of fruit. Taking care of the tree is a selfless activity, so it provides more. So guys in their 40s and 50s, that's the breakdown was happening years before.
Yeah, that's right.
It shows up.
Catches up.
In their 40s and in their 50s.
Yeah.
And like it's a legit breakdown. It's okay. Now I'm being hospitalized because my body is truly shutting down.
Right.
I did not do the selfless act of take care of me so that I can continue to provide, so that I can continue to protect.
Yeah.
And that's where I will say, for me personally, the boogeyman does not attack it the same way, because I'm not in a chronic state of illness, sickness, and attack.
Yeah.
It happens from psychologically, and it happens from physiological as well. But yeah, in the 40s and the 50s, the level of stress is higher. Stress in 12th grade is higher than stress in the 3rd grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
You typically have higher responsibilities. The bills cost more. You're no longer living in an apartment. You're living in your home. You no longer have your beat up Toyota or Honda. You now have stepped up in the vehicle that you drive. Now you have life insurance. What the heck is life insurance? Now I've got kids that are going to be going into college. Where's the financing coming from that? Yeah. So it's different levels of stressors. In the 40s and 50s is where the breakdown actually shows up.
Yeah. And unfortunately, most people ignore the signs the body's trying to tell you, right? And medicate it sometimes, or just over all the things we've kind of talked about, overeating and that stuff. So when you get there and so they're at that point and they call you, right? And hopefully you've caught it in time to help reset it. But what's that reset process? Talk to the people that are at that. What's that reset process really look like for them? So that it's not overnight, right? I mean,
so in my company, I call it K7. There's 7 key principles that I've identified over the years. That when we live these 7 principles, we're optimized.
Yeah.
So so physiologically, I'm optimized, and mentally and emotionally. So it's a hyper blend of that. But I'm going to break it down into a few steps. I'm going to have the foundation, and then I'll break it into 4 steps that people can execute right away. Actually, I'll share 2 things. Number 1, we get to be clear where we want to go. What's the destination? Because I'll have somebody, hey, Esteban, I'm 20 to 30 pounds overweight. I want to lose the weight. Okay. I'm Colombian. Pull out the machete. Let's cut off your arm. I don't want my arm cut off. Okay, so weight loss is not what you want. Losing the weight represents a way of being that you feel better at. So what is that? What let's say the 20 pounds, 30 pounds are off. Like, this part is so crucial that I'm going to take a few minutes here for people watching and listening. I want you to truly understand. If we don't have a purpose, we're not going anywhere.
Right, it won't change
at all. So you got to be really clear on your vision of who you get to be, money aside. And I'll play this game. I'll be like, Geoff, you got an extra $20 million. How are you going to live your life?
That's right.
Okay. So let's create that person.
Yeah.
Now and I'll use the term optimizing. I used to use weight loss a lot because people understood, but we optimize hormones and we increase longevity. Okay, well, what's longevity? Longevity doesn't mean that you breathe longer. It means that you're actually living longer. I'm going to give a stat and then I'm going to come back to my steps. The average man today is dying at age 76. However, that same man is going in and out of the clinics and hospital from age 63.
Yeah.
So those last 13 years of his life, he's not living.
He's
alive, but that sucks.
Yeah.
So number one, we get to be crystal clear.
Yeah.
What do you want? What's that vision look like? What's it smell like? What's it feel like? What's it? Money aside.
Yeah.
What is that? Okay, got it. And then I'll go to the opposite side. What's keeping you from being there now? Not including the beliefs. So I totally get the beliefs.
Right.
But this is where I'll use the term kryptonite.
And
people are like, well, I eat good, but I don't exercise. That's why I want to lose 40 pounds. I'm like, you're eating perfectly to have 40 pounds of toxins in your body.
Yeah.
Don't use the term good or bad, because then we're putting judgment into it. It's like, well, I thought I was doing good. So here's an example of that. My generation, we were taught that cholesterol in food was bad.
Yeah.
There was a, oh man, his name escapes me right now, but it'll come to me. A doctor that released a study that as cholesterol goes up, heart disease goes up. So it was a theory.
Yes.
They found out many years later that his study was flawed and it was cherry picked.
Mm.
7-country study. There was over 20 countries, and he cherry picked the 7. Over these decades, there has not been one study that shows cholesterol is directly related with heart disease. So here's where I'm getting at. So we cut back on saturated fats. If cholesterol levels went up in somebody, perceived going up, then they put them in drugs that lowered cholesterol. Well, we need cholesterol for the brain. We need cholesterol for hormones. Yes. There are hundreds, if not now, thousands of studies that show the people that live the longest have the highest cholesterol level. Yes. So here's where I'm getting at. Instead of eating butter, because it was high in cholesterol, instead of eating eggs, I would eat toast or bagel, and I would have margarine because it's low in cholesterol. Well, now, decades later, we come to find out that's what's clogging the arteries.
Yes. Yes.
So I say completely erase the perception of I'm eating good or bad. Based on evidence, based on results, is what you're doing working or not working compared to what you choose to create.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. But I eat healthy. Don't use the term healthy or unhealthy. Based on results, is it working or is it not working? So what do you want, Geoff?
Yeah.
What's getting in the way? What's the kryptonite? And a lot of the kryptonite is addictive.
Yeah.
So it's we already know that anytime that there's anything sweet, it lights up the chemical part of the brain. That's the addictive part. These people that live in tent cities that have the needles in the arm, and they don't want to be zombies, but it's that addictive that they lose their relationship with all their family and all their finances, and they're living in the freaking street taking a crap on the sidewalk because that drug is that addictive.
Right.
That is how addictive these foods are. That's number one.
By design, by the way, if I could slide that in. So that's another stuff. Keep going, Phil. I'm sorry.
Yes. Oh, that's a whole different. That's another day just on that one. So it's not your fault that it's hard to get off of these addictive foods. Oh, but I like to eat that. No crap, you like to eat it. It's chemically designed for you to like it. Like I totally get. But don't you want to eat this? Yes, I do. And I haven't done cocaine or heroin, but I guarantee you, if I do, I'll probably like it because it's gonna light that part of my brain up. Why am I not gonna do it? Because I know it'll break me down, and I'm super scared to be addicted to it. Same thing with certain foods. Okay, what do you want? And then what's getting in the way? Once we know that, then I don't invite it in the way. And then I've got my notes here because I just changed the terminology for it. Four steps everybody could do. You ready?
Yep.
So I've got my, where's my last name? My last name's right there, Lutz. That's an easy way to remember. L's the first one. You get to launch your day. How we start the day dictates how the day finishes. Oh, I've got these late night cravings, especially sweet. So in this culture, we're taught to eat high refined carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Well, that throws our hormones off, lowers testosterone, increases estrogen, increases insulin resistance. So we crave more sweet food. Awesome. So the way to launch today is start with a high protein food. If it had eyeballs, eat it. Every culture eats different animals, and it's okay for that culture. Got it. Some cultures I like eating cow. Other cultures I don't ever touch a cow. Some cultures eat some weird stuff from the sea. There's no sea around. I live in the Midwest. There's no sea around, so it's harder to do that. If it had eyeballs, you can eat it. Ta-da. We'll leave it at that. Protein is a thriving nutrient form. There's 9 essential amino acids. Protein is 20 different things, 20 amino acids. 9 of them are essential, meaning we have to consume them. 11 can be converted from different aminos in our body. There's not one essential carbohydrate. So we can actually thrive without ever eating carbohydrates. Ta-da. Is there anything wrong with eating carbohydrates? Absolutely not. But we get to earn the carbs. I'm sitting down right now. Hungry. I could pick up my phone and I could have food delivered right here. Like, how great is that? I don't have to go hunting for it. Meat, protein, it is thriving. So it activates so carbohydrates will activate a hormone that stores fat.
Yeah.
Eating meat activates another hormone that actually burns fat. It lowers a hunger hormone. So launch your day. That's L. 2, I'm staying with it. Up your protein. The average woman eats 60 grams of protein a day. The average man eats 90 grams of protein a day. Got it. Okay. So is that a bad thing? Let's take a look. 8 out of 10 of us in the United States right now are clinically overweight and obese. That is a sign of illness. 93% of us are metabolically unhealthy. So I would venture to say that we don't have an overfat problem. And here, I'm going to say it this way. We have an under-muscled problem.
Yeah.
There's been diets going on for decades. We're getting fatter and fatter every year.
Every year.
There's in the year 2000, we had roughly 17 to 18,000 gyms nationwide, fitness studios, gyms. I just categorize it for that. We've got about 95,000 right now. So it's not a lack of being active.
Yeah.
So it's signaling, and I'm going to get to that in 1 second. So number 2, up your protein. What we've come to find is shoot for 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. If your ideal body weight's 180 pounds, shoot for 180 grams per day of dietary protein. So there's been a push on cut back your carbs, cut back your fat. There's never, until recently, there's never really been a focus on protein. I remember in school, what they taught us was from a study back in World War II, here's the amount of protein a human needs, which was baseline. We were taught anything below that makes us susceptible for chronic diseases, but we were never taught what optimal was.
Yeah.
I should say the focus was not there. And I remember working with clients, and even for myself personally, it's like, got to work up to the baseline. It's like, okay, cool. You're in the basement.
Yeah.
I want to live optimally.
That's right.
Like I don't want to be just low in energy and lethargic and constantly stressing or depressed. So protein, 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. Ta-da. Count the calories? No need. Get your protein. 4 things. LU. Now we're going to T. Here we go. Train and track your steps. So muscle is the organ of longevity. The more muscle we have, the more optimized our hormones are.
Yes.
What we eat dictates how our hormones respond and where they are. It's not how many calories we eat. Because if I eat 2,000 calories of Snickers bars and marshmallows and Starbucks coffee versus 2,000 calories of whatever animal you want to eat, whatever fruit you want to eat, whatever root vegetable you want to eat, my body's going to have a different physiological response, even though the calories are the same.
That's right.
So T is train. You want to add resistance to your body. Behind me someplace, I've got dumbbells back there. I'll do a 1, 2, or 3 minute strength training routine 3 to 4 times throughout the day. That's it. So what I'm doing is I'm activating a signal that tells my body, grow muscle tissue.
Yeah.
So it's not about spending hours. Bro, I'm in my 50s.
Yeah, man.
I'm married and I want to stay married. My wife and I do work out together 2 to 3 times a week. We'll do like a 20 or 30-minute exercise time, and that's part of our QT.
Yeah.
But like, there's other things. Some people love it. Be there for hours if that's what you love. Totally get it. But when you understand the science, activate the signal. That's
Activate the signal.
train. And then the other one is moving. So let's say I'm in agreement personally and medically to lose 30, 40 pounds. Got it. That means my body's already under stress.
Yeah.
That means my hormones are already off.
Mm-hmm.
And then the old adage was, bro, you got to do cardio. So I'll find out the Orange Theory Fitness or some other, and they'll say high intensity interval training is great. There's a lot of data that backs that up. But for who?
Yeah.
So if my body's already under stress and I add more high level stress to it, I'm going into a breakdown mode. So this is where, again, my role is longevity.
Yes, sir.
So what I've got to do is I've got to put the body into a safe situation. That's it's called a parasympathetic system. You've got your sympathetic system, and then like parachute. I've got to activate the parasympathetic system. So and this is the second one. Track your steps. So if I were to go into the high intensity cardio, I'm putting a lot of stress for my body. Yeah, but I just saw that guy over there. He's ripped and he does a 5K all the time. His body and his hormones are in a different state than mine is.
That's right. That's right.
So it's knowing and understanding. Like if I would have an 8th grade football player train like an NFL football player athlete, it would break his body down, and that would be that would be irresponsible.
That's right.
So what we're seeing, I don't run or jog. I don't. My knees are jacked. Like my knees hurt. It's injuries from being young, dumb, full of stuff. And so I walk. And I'm in my 50s, and I do have a 6-pack. Well, what percentage of men in their 50s have a 6-pack? 0.0004. So not even the top 1%.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So where I'm getting at is, Esteban, do you bust your butt? No, I just know how to activate signals. So I'm gifting you the secret. Yeah. Track your steps wherever you were last week. Add 1,000 to it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I average 4,000 steps a week because I work in front of my computer and I work from home, so I don't have to go to a parking lot. Okay, cool. Got it. You're a grown man. Get up, walk your dog around, or walk with your spouse, or if you're solo, walk on your own, and hopefully you'll find your spouse while you're walking. Set the clock, track your steps. So you're going to train and you're going to track your steps. Z, last one.
Yeah.
Z stands for zone. Well, what zone? Sleep zone. Healing happens in our sleep.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
Protect your sleep at all cost. That really is the foundation. Hormones get optimized in the sleep. The muscles repair and recover in deep sleep. And there's a bunch of great trackers out there. There's the Aura Ring. There's I've got a Whoop on this wrist, and I've got a Fitbit on this wrist because it's my profession, so I'm tracking data.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then so I can identify, am I going to sleep at the same time? If I drink alcohol or don't drink alcohol, completely shifts and changes my sleep response. What time was my last meal? Completely changes the level of REM sleep and deep sleep. Like, there's so many things that affect us. And so many adults are treating sleep like if they were 9 years old. And it's like, you're a grown man. So one of the things that we found effective is set a sleep alarm.
Yeah.
Wind down. I have my screens. I've got 3 screens here, and my lights are set up on smart light. At a certain time of the day, they all shut down. I've gotten so nerdy that I have the blue blockers. So when the sun goes down, if I've got white light, blue light is what it's called, this keeps my cortisol from going up. So when that hormone stays active when the sun is out.
Yeah.
So it's called a circadian rhythm without getting too nerdy. So when the sun is down, we want to minimize the blue light exposure that we've got.
Yeah.
So I'm like, set an alarm. Be cautious on the time, the last swallow that you've got pre falling asleep. Alcohol at night, trash. Like, so I'll talk about alcohol here for a second. It's like, is alcohol really bad for you? So play along with me. Have you ever drank alcohol, Geoff?
Yes, sir.
You have. Have you ever drank water?
Yes, sir.
What's the most water you've drank in one setting?
For one setting,
Yeah.
maybe 32 ounces, maybe.
So here's 30 ounces right here.
Yeah.
So I've drank in one setting maybe 1.5 of these.
Yeah. I got one right here. So,
And then what's the most alcohol you've drank in one setting?
Man, I'm thinking back even in the wild days, stuff I drank, you didn't have to drink a lot. So, a couple glasses, a bottle, maybe 30 ounces.
So I remember having like 4 or 5 shots.
Yeah. Okay. It didn't matter.
So when you drank the water, did your speech slur?
Not at all.
Did your vision blur?
Not at all.
Did your step stumble?
Nope. Not at all.
Did you accidentally have sex with somebody you sure as heck would have not talked to in a sober moment? No. Yeah, with alcohol, we do that.
Yes.
So it shows that it's toxic and it's poisonous. Like, we all know that it's toxic and poisonous. So I'm not telling you to drink alcohol or not to drink alcohol. I just want you to be a grown man and acknowledge the fact that, okay, when I drink alcohol, I'm putting toxins in my body, whether you're choosing to. Totally, you're a grown man. You do whatever you want. But
right.
also acknowledge what's happening to you physiologically and mentally. It's a poison. So is it going to disrupt my sleep? Absolutely. If my sleep is disrupted, is my testosterone going to go down? Yes. So if you're okay with being a little weak bitch, like little soy boy, girly man, enjoy your drink at night.
Yeah.
I had to. I just
you couldn't help yourself, could you?
that is the kind of coach I am from time to time. I'll just rib there. It's like, I mean, we just get to be honest with ourselves. That's it. I'm not telling you to do or not to do anything, but there's an awareness that we're grown ups. It's like, okay, got it. This is what I'm choosing for me right now. Got it.
Right.
So four steps right there, wherever that is. Easy one to remember.
I love those. It's right on your right. I love those 4 steps, and as I said at the very beginning, it's about precision conversations, right, and thinking, and I love that. And man, I was just kind of looking at the time, man. I've already kept you a little longer than we committed to. So let me reshape something for a moment, if I may, right? And ladies and gentlemen, when you hear this, I don't know that I mentioned at the beginning, so I want to make it a little clear. Esteban and I will be showing up through the month of April and continuing the conversation around what he brings to the table. And when you hear this message, you're going to have to go back and listen to it again. I really encourage you to do that, because he's speaking things that you don't normally hear. But I want you to do some research on it if you have any doubt about it, and then come back and let us know what you find out. The brother is spot on what he's talking about. But anyway, we are coming through and to you through the month of April with more of this messaging. And really, I'm speaking to you from the side of from heartbreak to healing and pathways to divorce. And he spoke on it just a little bit, right? What about I
needed you 10, 12 years ago. I needed you. Like I went through the funk. So I think what you're providing is so crucial to us when we get to that point. So thank you for what you do.
Yeah, well, thank you for also being the other side of it, right? I mean, you can do all these things, but if you don't take care of your body, right? I mean, I'm partially inspired to go back and get the 6-pack I lost. I say partially. It'll probably pass, Esteban. I'll sit here long enough until it passes, man. But I might surprise you, right? I mean, I'm not going to say it either way, but I love the fact of what you're talking about. And then Don Rice, this has been a great conversation, very interesting. I'm telling you, this man is on fire, and there'll be more people watching it. So I wanted to just make sure that they knew that you'll be back, right? And what we're really trying to do. And thank you for saying what you said earlier, man. This is and having you be a support system to really kind of get to this something different, but and raw. I mean, you just come and show up, and that's really the kind of guy I am. I love that. So I'm looking forward to more of that. So let me ask you in the next couple of minutes. You know what we've talked about. How do you want to wrap this up so we don't leave folks hanging, and then maybe they can anticipate on the next time they see you?
Yeah. So, and you know, you and I've talked offline, and it's really what we want to do is bring a series to you to support you into. I call it being a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, when I showed up as a 10 out of 10 for me, if anybody knows me personally, or even you look in my social media, I have an amazing relationship with my wife. So I went through an awful divorce, found an amazing woman, attracted an amazing woman. Like, let me get real on what really happened. I attracted an amazing woman because I showed up in a way that she's like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
And we build on it all the time. You know, it's so we want to give you the tools on how you get to show up that way. And I'm gonna stretch this out just a little bit, Geoff. You know, I think back of some business coaching that I got. A lot of the messaging comes into people either want to increase their finances, they want to increase their health, or they want to increase their relationship. For me, it's all relationship. For me, it's only that one. Because why do I want to increase more money? Well, I want to stay single. Okay. And you're wanting to have experiences so that you're around other people, or you're perceived a certain way by other people. It still comes back to relationship.
Right.
Health. I want to be around longer because there's people I love that are still here that I don't want to be without them. So for me, it's always back to relationship. Now, the body touches everything.
Yes.
If I have a sick body, I'm going to have a sick relationship. If I have a sick body, there is no generating revenue.
Yes.
So the body touches everything. If I'm coaching a pastor and his goal is evangelism, that's my role. Well, bro, if you're showing up on the pulpit weak energy and you're sick and you're not even showing up,
right,
you're missing the boat. So irrelevant of whatever else, being a 10 out of 10 for yourself, then you're showing up that way. And that is my perception of what you and I are bringing to the table here over this series is a blend of your expertise and my expertise, so that like we genuinely are living a fulfilled life before our last breath.
Yeah. And it's all about the relationship on this planet, and then between what we have with us and God, you know, tying that piece in there, and he overshadows all of it. And I love how you look at it. There is relationships, and it's health, right? And emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, mental health, right? All those things kind of tie back to it. So you're rich and unhappy, happy and poor. I mean, what's the trade-off, right? I mean, so there's a lot to that. So I wanted to make sure I got that in, because I didn't feel like I got it straight at the beginning, Esteban. So now, if you would, kind of as what we've talked about, how do you want to just kind of in the next couple of minutes, just kind of put a bow around what we had so far, and then what they can look forward to?
Yeah, it's so what you can look forward to is honestly a roadmap on a step-by-step process on what do I get to do so that I create that. And I'm going to come in from the physical side. I'm going to coach you on how to optimize your hormones, how to increase your longevity, muscle is the organ of longevity. So speaking in plain English, how to build that tight toned body, but that tight toned body also means confidence, because your hormones are optimized. If you're in fight or flight, confidence is not there. Courage is not there. Yeah. That's going to impact your finances. That's going to impact your relationship. So it's so interesting that it's more than just the way we appear in the mirror. It truly is a reflection of what's going on hormonally, which ties into the emotion. So yeah, it's we're going to show you the roadmap.
Yeah.
Like I'm pulling back the curtains. You'll have a step-by-step process of this is how you get to execute so that you're building that 10 out of 10 version of yourself.
And I love the fact that it feels simple, right? But and you said something about training, the body and conditioning. So man, that's stuff that we can all do, no matter what the age is, no matter how much money we have or not have, that we can do that. And it just lines up. And you mentioned the mirror piece of it, right? And I love that, you look down beyond what looks back at you into the soul, into the spirit, right? Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited about what we've done so far and what's coming in the next few sessions. So
for sure.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to kind of tie us up, man?
So I want to send an invitation. I'm going to do this each time, Geoff. Invite somebody. Like we're going to go through this series. Call it a challenge if you want. Yeah. So we can Google anything. We can use AI for any knowledge. But what I want to do is I want to invite you to truly challenge yourself to leave your comfort zone and step into a higher version of yourself. The highest success rate that we've seen in my industry is when people have an accountability buddy. So build your tribe. Yeah. Whoever I'm hanging out with, that's who I'm going to be. If I'm around jerks, if I'm around 5 jerks, I'm going to be the 6th jerk. If I'm around 5 millionaires, I'm going to be the 6th millionaire. If I'm around 5 fit guys that have an amazing relationship with a wife, I'm going to be the 6th one. So build your tribe. I'm going to openly say, dudes and ladies are easy. Ladies do it way faster than the guys do. They just do. They're like, I wasn't planning on doing this alone anyway. Yeah. So ladies, you're on it. I didn't even have to tell you anything. It'd be like, am I allowed to? Yes. Like I want.
Uh-oh.
It's so sensitive when I touch it.
Got it. You're good.
And part of success is building your tribe. So invite somebody, say, hey, I'm doing this. You're going to do this with me also, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. I mean, and really, it's really about coming from isolation into the community and building that tribe. So I'm excited about the journey, and men and women can participate, as you said. So, man, listen, if you don't have anything else, man, how do people get hold of you? I mean, tell us that before you get out of here. Man.
Social media is an easy one.
Social media.
In today's day and age. So here's my name, Esteban Lutz. So that's it on Facebook. On Instagram, I have that lower line K7, because I coach on the K7 method. So if you find my name with K7, that's me, and you'll see my mug all across. And I still manage my private messages. So if anybody wants to reach out on messaging, you can get a hold of me that way.
Yeah, well, take advantage of that, because a lot of people at his caliber don't provide that. So that's something that if you catch this or you know somebody, make sure you take advantage of that.
I did have a team manage my messaging, and I'm not ready to let that go yet. I come to find out I did that for some time, and I'm like, no, like I'm here to serve. I've done this for 34, 35 years. Yeah. I love what I do. You could put all the millions of dollars in my bank account, I would still be doing this. Like for me, this is a calling. So 100%, you private message me, I will respond to you.
Yeah. Well, man, listen, take them up on that. I know them to be true, so take them up on it. Esteban, man, it's been great. Thank you for helping me kick this thing off. Absolutely. I mean, it's so awesome to work in the background, and we finally got here. So I guess we can wrap this thing up if there's nothing else you have to say, my friend.
We're good, brother. I'm excited for the next one.
Yeah, me too, man. Awesome job. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Love and respect, man. Woo. Hey, listen, guys, obviously you're going to have to go back and listen to the replay, which is going to be available. It's going to keep it out there for a while, and go check him out. Go look him up and do all the things that you can do to kind of connect with what he's talking about. He talked about metabolic stuff, right? And so let's challenge ourselves to be able to be pushed and to be stretched in spaces that you may not be familiar with what he was talking about. And get ready, baby, because we are going to show up the rest of this month and drop some fire, from heartbreak to healing, pathways to extraordinary love and health. So listen,
I'm gonna wrap this thing up, and I always want to remind everyone about the power of how we see things like he was talking about. And remember, don't let's stop seeing the comebacks in our lives as limitations, and that he's been talking about. See them as opportunities, see them as a lifestyle. It's going to be here, falling on your face, right? You're going to fall. What happens when you fall on your face? It hurts. So what? Get up. Don, thanks for stopping in, man. Looking forward to more conversations, and pass this on to some of your friends out there, and be ready. Sorry we just came up with not much of a notice, but hey, I know you guys will participate and bring this thing to life. So as we always say in Comeback King Enterprises, we welcome the opportunity to help you get from isolation into community, right? And stinking thinking into your truth. So let's keep coming back, baby. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care. Show my friends some love when you listen to this replay as well. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.